Tax evasion is illegal, but tax avoidance is lawful. Let's talk about it.
All right, taxes. The tax system has always been here from the very beginning of the U.S. by the king's agreement to continue to tax the people that still wanted to owe allegiance to him. We, the humans, are not actually taxed, corporations are. And you're not taxed on what corporation you represent. You are taxed on how you do business, and it is as simple as that. However, we purposely aren't taught the true basics of how anything works. All bankrupt countries are companies that operate basically in the same way. Anything you register to them, they control, and we become the trustees in charge of all the debts, duties, obligations, and liabilities that incur. A citizen is analogous to a subject, and here in the U.S., it is classified by the IRS as an individual trust. A citizen is a trust corporation with a TIN that is controlled by the corporate state that you register it in. We're purposely not taught how corporations operate or what subject matter jurisdiction is by the people that control our education system. The creators of the U.S. citizen have placed 4 liens on it. There's a federal lien, a state lien, a medical lien, and a social security lien. And how it's all set up is where people that control the Federal Reserve System have made certain rules and regulations if you're going to be engaged in that type of system. I know it's hard to wrap your head around, but the fact is the IRS is an honorable, neutral, third-party accounting system established by the creditors of the U.S. But the IRS knows that for-profit is an insidious system where people operate very greedily and try to hide massive amounts of money. Most corporations are controlled by D.C., which is a federal zone, and any corporation registered to do business in a federal zone for profit typically has a tax liability. Now, there are many ways to operate outside of the federal zip-coded zones and federal jurisdiction, not for profit, in order to have no tax liability. A not-for-profit corporation is a much more honorable system because it typically has people running a corporation that don't care about the bottom dollar and corporate greed as a motivation. And that's why there's little tax placed upon them. Even a federally registered not-for-profit CEO can make millions of dollars. If your citizen is going to be engaged as an employee in a for-profit system in a federal zone, there is a tax liability because you are supporting that insidious type of system that is established for greed. You typically have to have a corporation to interface with the public that receives funds, and you can create your own corporation that is outside of all U.S. jurisdictions and engage in all kinds of commercial affairs, and there's no tax liability. You can also receive money under the table. You can get gifts, donations, barter, trade, exchange, and borrow without any tax liability. Stop listening to random people like me on TikTok. Do your own research on the rules of the game that you're going to be playing in.